Hello, I'm Reverend Glenn Davis, the pastor of First Christian Church in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, and this is chapel time. It may not look like chapel, but that is what we're going to call it, chapel time, because we actually are in the chapel of the church. Chapel time may consist of a meditation, some Bible reading, some other kinds of just connecting with one another through this media, so we can hopefully reach out and you still feel a part of the church while we're at this point where we cannot be together in the church for worship service. Our regular Sunday morning worship will be streamed and we'll have that opportunity, but we're wanting to make additional opportunities during the week. There'll be a few more different things added and they'll be revealed as they are made. Here on Chapel Time, as was stated, you can see it doesn't look like we're in a chapel. Behind me is a scene from Death Valley, a picture that I took one of the times that I was in Death Valley. I have this up because I'd like to share an important scripture to me. It's one we're all familiar with. It's one I learned as a child. It's the 23rd Psalm. I'm not going to look at all of it, but one of the things that is really relevant to me, and the very first time that I drove into Death Valley and got out and walked into the desert, or hiked up a little desert mountain trail, the things that came to my mind on a regular basis was the one verse that we find in Psalm 23, verse 4. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. It comes to me because it was Death Valley, of course. But I was there in the summer and it was so incredibly hot, and it seemed like this really is a place of death. And many people, when going for the gold rush, died trying to cross it. Death Valley is a desolate and dry place, but there's also much beauty there. And in our lives, we go through desolate and dry times as well. Right now, we're going through a pretty difficult time with this coronavirus that is spreading. It's causing a lot of fear and a lot of unknown. And unknown is a difficult thing to deal with. The scripture, I think, is important for us to recognize that when we go through difficult times, that last little phrase in the part of the verse that I spoke, "For you are with me," is an important thing for us to hold on to. Recognizing that no matter what difficulty we're going through, God is there guiding us through. The very last piece of verse 4 goes like this: "Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." Now, when I was a child and I had to memorize this particular scripture, this particular part scared me a little bit. A rod was meant for beating people, was my understanding. So these looked like weapons and I was a little bit scared. So God is going to beat me into submission? But later I truly discovered that that has nothing to do with this verse. Thy rod and thy staff, these are shepherding tools. Yes, they can be used in a weaponized form to ward off animals that may want to attack the sheep. But that's not their main purpose. Their main purpose is to guide the sheep along. And as they want to stray and maybe step off the path onto loose gravel where they may fall further into the canyon, then it's really important that the staff and rod are a part of helping guide the sheep, keeping them on the right path. We all know that we stray from time to time. And it's wonderful that we learn with Jesus that when the sheep stray, he leaves and goes and finds them and brings them home. But it's up to us to welcome Jesus bringing us back, or welcome the shepherd guiding us back to being obedient to God. Because in doing so, the path is laid before us. And we don't always know what to choose. We need to take time to not just react, but instead go to God in prayer share our prayers, share our concerns, and ultimately say, Lord, guide me. Guide those for whom I'm praying. Guide those who are helpers in times of need. So all in all, we can work towards staying on the right path. And in all things, God, you are there with us. You see us through. So the difficult times, it's not that God's going to make them go away. The difficult times, it's not that God created them to punish us. Difficult times are a time for us to call upon God, to call upon that guidance, to be reminded where we need to stay on the right path. And our God will see us through. Hold on to that hope. Hold on to that faith. But mostly, remain obedient to God and seek God's guidance. Seek God's will. Amen.